TikTok, what's good? YouTube, what's good? What's good with you? What's good? What's good? It's your boy T.I.Z., a.k.a. Yourself, and this is All Facts TV. Let's get right into the brass tacks of the situation, shall we? As we proceed. So, this is going to be a very involved video. We're going to be talking about King Solomon. I think I left off where King Solomon, he had specific directions to build the temple, and he got them from his father, King David. God came to him in a dream and told him that the temple had to be built without hammers and nails, no tools whatsoever, because those tools could be used in war. And it should be no noise. It should be total peace in building a temple, which only the wisest man in the world could solve this problem. So he came up with an idea. He figured out that he had to get something called the shamir worm. And this worm had to be got so that it could cut the stones. It was the only thing that could cut the stones without tools and without any noise. So, and you got to remember, I almost forgot that the everything had to be cut at the quarry and then brought to the temple and then assembled. So it had to be cut exactly perfect so that all the stones fit exactly when they got to the temple, because there could not be any noise, which is something crazy. But so he had to go and get the shamir worm. So the only way to get the shamir worm was for him to actually get help from different demons. Now, this is very important to understand. We're getting this story out of the Testament of Solomon, which is a non-canonical document. It's a Jewish document. It's likened to the Zohar, the Midrash, and the Talmud. Now, it's important to understand that this is non-canonical, meaning that this is not a proven actual fact part of the Bible. But it's important because with this we can understand the occult teachings of how demons work. Now, why that's important is because just like demons invert God's word, we can invert demons' words, and we can understand God more closely. Like I said once before, that you can't really prove that Jesus existed without a shadow of a doubt. Same way you can't prove a lot of people lived without a shadow of a doubt. But what we can do is we can understand that Jesus lived because of a lot of these documents. A lot of these documents, they speak of Jesus in a way that he's revered, or that, the same way you speak of Michael or Gabriel. You can't say for a fact that Michael or Gabriel actually exist, but because of testaments from very valid people, we can understand that they believed in those things. So we'll move on from here, but understand that this is non-canonical, and it should be treated the same way you would treat a fairy tale or a fable. The way you use a fairy tale or a fable is, when you think about it, it stimulates motion in your mind, and you use an imagination. In time, this helps you to solve problems. This is what this is for. I will be getting into the actual King James part of the Bible when they're talking about King Solomon, and I'll do that in another video. But now I'm going to use this to explain demons and exactly what those demons are and how those demons actually work in your life. King Solomon is a very good example of what happens when you worship vanity, when you worship money, when you worship success, when you worship notoriety and attention, especially nowadays in the climate that we're living in now. So, without further ado, we'll proceed. King Solomon was building his temple, and he knew that he had the problem of finding the Shamir worm. He knew about the Shamir worm, but he didn't know how to attain the Shamir worm. He didn't know how to get it. So he had to actually consort demons in order to be able to get this knowledge or this information. So one day while he was working on in the quarries and working on the temple, he ran across one of his favorite artisans. An artisan is a skilled worker. So he ran across one of his favorite artisans, which was a young lad, and he was not an apprentice, but he was young. The papers don't say that he was an apprentice, but they do say he was young. And King Solomon had a real closeness with this young lad for some reason, which is not stated. So when King Solomon ran across him, he asked him, "Why do you look like you're getting so thin? And why do you look like you're upset and you're just getting thinner and thinner by the day?" So the young lad, which is his name is not stated in the document, the young lad says to him that when he goes to bed at night, a demon comes to him and takes half of his food and half of his wages. King Solomon said to him, "Well, I give you double your wages and I give you double the food because we are close and I love you like that." So he exclaimed that the demon sucks his thumb and takes half of his wages and takes half of his food, but it also oppresses him. King Solomon seen this as a problem. So he went to the temple of God and he prayed day and night. And Michael came to him and gave him a pentalphid. A pentalphid is a ring that is a six-pointed star. It also had a sigil on it, and it came from God. And he was directed from Michael to use it to control demons. Solomon did was he saw the young lad later on that evening or after he got the ring. And he said to him, "When you see the demon, when you go to sleep tonight and you see the demon, immediately throw the sigil at the demon's chest. Then send the demon to me. Tell the demon that it'll come to me." When it says that he threw the ring at the demon's chest, he was simply saying to aim it at his chest, like as if you have a ring on and it's like the Green Lantern and you point your hand, your fist at the demon's chest. I'm telling you that because I didn't really understand that when I first got into this writing. I didn't understand what it meant to throw the ring at the demon's chest. So back to the story. The child went to sleep. Well, he wasn't a child. He was a young lad. We don't want to say child because the document doesn't say that he was a child. He said that he was a worker. He also said that he was a skilled worker. So he had to be of age. He just was young, probably in his 20s or so. When the young lad went to sleep, the demon came to him in fire and took his money and his food. He would also suck his right thumb. This would oppress the lad, making him skinny and frail, and also very weak. So when all of this happened, he grabbed the ring and threw it at the demon's chest. The demon screamed in agony and begged the lad to take the restraint of the ring off of him. He stated that if he took the restrainer of the ring off of him, he'll give him all the gold in the world. He did that to no avail, because the lad immediately took him to King Solomon. When he finally got to King Solomon, he rejoiced to the king and said, I did what you said, and the demon is out in your courtyard, waiting for you. He offered me all the silver and the gold of the earth if I took the ring off of him, but I didn't, and now he's here. He's here waiting for you in your courtyard. Solomon rose immediately and walked out to the vestibule of his palace, where the demon was. He saw the demon there, shuddering and trembling. Solomon asked him, Who are you? And the demon said, My name is Orneus. Solomon asked the demon to what zodiacal sign he was subject to. The demon said, I am subject to the zodiacal sign of Aquarius, and I strangle those who are consumed with the desire of noble virgins. But in case there is no disposition to sleep, I change into 3 forms. Whenever men are enamored with women, I metamorphose myself into a comely female, and I take hold of the men in their sleep and I play with them. After a while, I take to my wings and fly to the heavenly regions. I also appear as a lion, and I'm commanded by all the demons. I am the offspring of the archangel Uriel, in which is the power of God. Okay, so now let's sit here for a second and let's observe who this demon Orneus is and what his powers are and exactly what this course of events actually meant, so that you can understand how to deal with this demon if it approaches you. So we got Orneus. When a demon is in your presence, it always has 4 points of contact. First point of contact is temptation. Second point of contact is deception. Third point of contact is oppression. And then finally, we have possession, in which you have to give the demon permission to enter your body, whether voluntary or involuntary. So let's deal with the first thing, temptation. Temptation is so subtle and so easy for the demon to connect access to you if you're on the left-hand path and not following the path of the Most High. So what ends up happening is you just gradually get off the path and you're tempted to do things that you know are wrong in your life. So I'll use myself as an example. I hate working my job. I hate waking up early in the morning. I hate being at my job. And at my job, I have to work overtime mandatory. So I can be 6 to 8 hours into my shift, and then all of a sudden, I'll get a message on my computer and it'll say I got to work another 3 hours. So it drives me crazy. So in order to cope with all these negative feelings that I'm having, I'll crave sugar. So I'll get, an energy drink, or I'll get coffee with caramel and sugar in it. And I know good and well I'm not supposed to have that. So that's the temptation. The deception happens when I'll tell myself, I'll just go home and I'll do, 100 push-ups when I get home in order to burn the sugar off. Or I'll go and run a little bit and burn some of the sugar off. Or I'll do some pull-ups or whatever. And then I actually never do it. So that's the deception. All of this based in me coping with an environment that's unsuitable for me and making the temptation a lot stronger for me. So then we're on to the next step, which is oppression. All of a sudden, after I finish eating, I feel guilty about doing it. I might feel bloated, or, I could feel the insulin running through my body and it makes me feel sluggish. And I'm like, man, I should have never did it. And then I'll go to the doctors and they'll say, oh, your glucose levels are high and you're pre-diabetic and your blood pressure's high. And then I'm oppressing myself, or the demon is helping me to oppress myself by saying to me, I'm so stupid for doing it. I know I shouldn't have did it. I'm weak, and all this negative talk that you do in your mind. This is oppression. Now, if I allow myself to be oppressed long enough, then I go to the next step and I'll say so many negative things in my mind where I'll say to myself something stupid like, I'm feeling upset. So I get a phone call that has nothing to do with anything I'm thinking about, and say one of my children, something happens with one of my children, and because I'm already in this negative mind state, I go and rush home to try to go and fix something that I normally wouldn't do, and I'm all in this negative state, and I put my foot on the gas and I'm rushing home. I'm upset, and then I get into a car accident. Now, that would be a form of possession, because now I'm not saying that is demonic possession, but because of all of those things, I end up doing something detrimental in my life that will set me back, ultimately throwing me off of my path that the Most High had planned for me. What the child was going through is oppression. He was going through the part that would have him actually getting thin, the part that would actually have him losing money. And maybe a lot of you may be going through the same things in your life where something is oppressing you. Anytime that there is something oppressing you, you have to arrest it. You have to get it in control. You have to use that ring in order to arrest that demon and subjugate it. You have to subjugate that demon. And if you don't have the awareness or the strength to bring it under control on your own, you have to pray. You have to stay close to the Most High in order to get through that. Unfortunately, sometimes you have brought this thing on yourself. Like I said, possession has a lot to do with you allowing this demon to come into your life. A lot of times you'll allow the spirit of anger and rage to come into your life. It's something that you develop as a protection mechanism in order to make your life what you assume to be better. And you'll tap into these negative spirits in order to protect yourself or to defend yourself from certain things that may be happening in your life. And you may have been doing this for so long that you may not just be able to get this demon away from you quickly. It takes time. And when these things happen, you have to be patient. You have to keep praying. You have to stay close to the Most High. You have to stop indulging in those things that are allowing this demon access to your life. So we're going to end this here because this has been a little bit more than 15 minutes, and I do not want you to get off track because the video was too long. So I'm going to end it here. We're going to start the next part of the video, the part 2 of the video. I'm going to start that tomorrow, and I'll throw 2 or 3 videos at you tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off, so I'll throw 2 or 3 videos at you tomorrow, so you can just stay up to date on what these things are going to be. This is a very important series because a lot of us are suffering from these demons. So, again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment down below. The comments really help the algorithm. So even if you just comment hearts, or if you just comment fire, or if you just comment trash, I don't care what it is, but it helps the algorithm. Liking doesn't cost you anything. You can also share these videos. Just whatever you can do to help me to get these videos out, because all I really want to do is just help one person. So I've been rambling on long enough. I'm getting a little tired. So again, peace and blessings. Have a good night. Good. If Yah wills, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace and blessings. Don't forget about Plain Planet. The inspiration behind Plain Planet is not just some flat earth conspiracy theory. It's the idea that your vision in life belongs to you. You don't have to believe something that you've learned in school. You don't have to believe something that science tells you is true. You can believe what you want to believe. You could be who you want to be. This is the essence of Plain Planet. Plain Planet is a clothing line. It's a Christian clothing line on top of it that you can actually wear and be proud of. This ain't churchy or Bible thumping. This is a quality streetwear brand. This is Plain Planet. Clothing you can believe in.
Dreams come true, and I wonder if you know.